Hey everybody, it's Shantae. I hope that you had a nice and restful weekend. I am coming to you with a double whopper. In this video, I'm combining two of my favorite things. Go ahead and like and subscribe so that you can get a hold of this content and be notified by clicking the notification button so that you can get notifications when I post new videos. In this video, we're going to the beach, and at the beach, we are going to have a sit down conversation about some books. I'm going to be talking to you about 10 books that you can enjoy on your next vacation, such as Clearwater Beach, and 10 books that are not only vacation worthy books, but they have representation and they have something for us girlies or guys who would like to live a soft life. So these particular books I'm going to talk about, they have an absence of really tough things like generational trauma, slavery, those types of things. And that makes them easy and that makes them light for vacation, but it also helps because life is hard right now and it's not easy living. And sometimes you want to read just to have an escape. So I'm going to try my best. I'm not going to hold y'all. This was hard for me. I'm going to try my best to give you more than one type of book and more than one type of genre. But I'm going to give you 10 books, or at least I want to say 7 books and a few series that you can read that'll give you the representation with some black and brown people, and it'll give you representation such as LGBTQ rep, but it's light and it's something that you can read while you're sitting on the beach enjoying this beautiful scenery here. By the way, it is approximately 7:40 in the morning, and I am at Clearwater Beach in Clearwater, Florida, which is one of my favorite places with two of my favorite people. And it is before the sun is coming out. And I just felt like this was a good place to record. So I hope you enjoy some of this footage. I'm going to talk a little bit about each book that I'm going to recommend to you. The format I'm going to give you is I'll give you the title, I'll give you the author and why I enjoyed it, and what type of representation that you will see in it. So I hope that you enjoy it. If not, if you don't have it already, go ahead and get you some nice hot tea and a snack and sit down, be at the beach with us and enjoy. First book I would like to recommend is called Cinderella is Dead. The author is Kaylin Bayron. This is a fantasy book. It is about a girl who is living in a post-Cinderella fairy tale life. It deals with patriarchy and it also has some LGBTQ rep. Our main character is queer. Like I said, it's a fantasy book and it's an amazing book and it's told in an amazing story and it's by a black woman author. So I highly recommend that you read this book. It is a standalone book, so you don't have to worry about being on the edge or leaving this book on a cliffhanger. Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron. The second book I would actually like to recommend is 2 books. It is 2 of 3 in a series. The third book is not out yet, but I think it'll be out this year. And this book is the series is starting with A Dream So Dark by L.L. McKinney. This is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, but with a black female lead. Lots of black girl magic. It is a fantasy book. And if you are sensitive to some violence, this may not be the series for you, but there is some violence in there. There is also mention of racial disparities and discomforts in this particular world, but it is an amazing book and it holds true to that whimsical Alice in Wonderland theme with some of the main characters like the Mad Hatter and Warple Blade and all those types of things. So it's an amazing book if you like to be whisked away. I read book 1 and book 2. Again, book 3 is not out yet, so you might have to wait for that, but I highly recommend that you read this. It's a very rich experience. The next book I'm going to recommend is called Lured by Dusk, and it is a fantasy romance. and it is written by Angela J. Ford, who is another Black female author. This is part of her A Tower Knight's Tale series, where she writes a series of fantasy romances like this. It's not a classical fairy tale retelling, but in this particular book, there is a Black woman lead who is going through a journey to set herself free from this land that she has put herself in. But in doing that, she has disrupted the tomb of an old piper for the town who is, I would say, he has been identified as the villain of the town. So it's a great book. It's a great story. It is kind of spicy. So if you like that, pick it up. Lured by Dusk by Angela Ford. The next book I would like to recommend is Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? And this is written by Lizzie Domilola Blackburn, another Black female author. It is just such a good book. And it's funny and it's light. However, it does tackle some issues that a lot of women who are single and childless in their 30s go through. It follows Yinka in her journey to get chosen. And Yinka is just an imperfect character. She makes a lot of mistakes. We love Yinka, but Yinka is a mess. So it took me about a day or two to read it. I recommend you reading it. It's called Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? The next book I'm going to recommend is called Feeding the Soul. This is a nonfiction book. So yes, I got a little range in this list, I'm trying to tell y'all. And it is by Tabitha Brown. It is a memoir. And in the memoir, she gives recipes to mirror the things that she has gone through. And the recipes are vegan recipes. And it's just such an uplifting book. I listened to it on audio. And she reads it, so that makes it just such a good experience. I highly recommend it. At that time that I was reading it, my mental health was kind of taking a hit because of all the things that was going on in my world, and it just helped to remind me that I am important, that feeding your soul is important, being good to yourself, having grace. And I'm just forever grateful for this book. So please pick this up. It is by Tabitha Brown, Feeding the Soul. The next book is also another nonfiction, and this is Will. And this is by Will Smith. It is a memoir told about his life and mainly his professional career and his love life and how the two tied together. Will did that. I experienced this through audio, and when I tell you I loved it, I get the book, okay? Go get the book. Will did that. He did such an amazing job. The next book is a series that I read during quarantine, and so this is a fantasy retelling of The Wizard of Oz, and these are called the Dorothy Must Die series, and they are written by Danielle Page, who is another Black female author. Like I said, it's a Wizard of Oz retelling, and it follows Dorothy years after it follows our main character years after Dorothy has been to Oz. And our main character finds out that she wants to go back to Oz, but Dorothy tore Oz up. And we follow that series of her trying to make Oz a better place. This is a good soft life book because number one, it's a fantasy book. Number two, it's a fantasy retelling. But the world is like bomb. The author, Miss Page, does such a wonderful job describing the things that happen in the world, describing the peoples and the changelings in the world, and I just really enjoyed it, especially during quarantine in 2020. It was exactly what I needed. So if you're going through a rough time or you just need a soft life read, I highly recommend the Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Page. The next book I'm going to recommend is For All Times by Shannon Miles. This is a romance novel. I do want to there is some trigger warnings such as death and chronic illness in this book. But it is an amazing love story. I got whisked away by these two main characters. The ending I was not expecting, and I really just enjoyed it. So I truly believe that in you trying to have a soft life, or being on a vacation, or just wanting to hear about two brown people in love with each other, read For All Times. I thought it was pretty dope. The next book is, I kind of thought a lot, should I include this book in this? And because of one of the major trigger warnings, which is rape or sexual assault, and I decided I was going to go ahead and do it. So it is 7 Days in June, and it's by Tia Williams, who is a Black woman. And this was a romance novel that took the book community by storm last year. I recommend you reading it because even though the rape or sexual assault that previously happened to one of our main characters happened, it doesn't take over the story. It follows her journey trying to move past it. Also, there is chronic illness representation in here. It's a great love story about two people who are rekindling a love and making a decision on where that love's going to go. So I thought it was pretty dope. I know you will as well. The next book is a short stories romance series, and this is called Press the Equilibrium Novelettes. This particular book is Press Rewind, and it is written by Christina C. Jones, who is a Black woman romance author. I remember reading these through quarantine, and they were spicy, and they were good, and they were just non-problematic, and it was just people making bad choices, but in a non-problematic way. So it continues to allow you to do what you need to do, live the life that you need to live without thinking too hard about all of the bad things that can just happen in life. So I recommend that book and all of the books in the series, Frosted Whipped Buttered, Plus One, and I thought that it was just pretty dope, and I thought she did a good job. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed the book recommendations that I offered you today. I also want to give you a bonus recommendation. That is this book here. I am reading this currently, so I don't really know how this is going to end, but I'm about 20% in, and I want to say that this is definitely vacation worthy. This is definitely the bomb. So pick this one up. So now you didn't just get 10 recommendations. Now you got 11. And I hope that on your next vacation, you are going to have an amazing time. I am manifesting a soft life filled with wellness and abundance and all those things. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Click like to this video. Comment if you got some questions. Child, that's what I'm here for. And hit that notification button. Until the next video, I will see you later. Bye.